Ariel Helwani at Strikeforce Nashville with the Strikeforce middleweight champion Jake Shields, who of course faces Dan Henderson this Saturday night live on CBS. Jake, obviously a lot of talk about this fight, a lot of buzz. What are the thoughts going through your mind just a couple of days before it?
I'm super excited right now. This is the biggest fight of my life. The biggest opportunity, main event on CBS versus Dan Henderson. I couldn't be more excited. I want to go out there and make a statement. So.
Fighting again at 185. Of course, we've known you as a 170-pounder for a while. Talk about your body and sort of the liberties that now you could take before a weigh-ins fighting at 185.
Yeah, it's nice. Drinking water, eating. I hate cutting weight. It's the worst part of the sport. So I like being up. At some point I'm sure I will drop back down. But, I've also put some weight on. I put some muscle on. I got a great strength trainer. Been following a good regimen of supplements with Tap Out Sports. So it's, I've been, my weight's up. But still, like I said, obviously not a big cut because it's pounded all this water. So.
Has Dan Henderson been a guy that's been on your radar? I mean, he's been in the sport for so long. Is this someone that you've always sort of dreamt about fighting?
Actually, no. I've always looked up Dan Henderson, but it's never really crossed my mind fighting him because he spent most of his career up at 205s. I was a 70-pounder, so I never really gave much thought fighting Henderson. Even when he dropped down to 85s, I don't know. For some reason, never thought about it. I guess I should have because I've thought about fighting Anderson Silva and stuff, but just never really gave it thought. Then all of a sudden, jump signs with Strikeforce, and as soon as I heard that, I go, wow, I could fight Henderson. So it pretty much came out of nowhere, but I'm super excited it's happening.
There hasn't been a lot of trash talk between you two guys, but recently Henderson says that his only worry is to get humped to death by you. What do you make of that?
That's not going to happen. I'm going to be busting his face open, so he's got a lot more to worry about that than that. Be worried about keeping his arms intact.
Of course, we're just a couple of days removed from a very controversial middleweight title fight over in Abu Dhabi. Anderson Silva, Damian Maia. Does that come into play with you that you want to, prove that you are an exciting champion, that you finish fights, things like that? Do you think about that?
Yeah, of course. Like I said, I finished, 8 of my last 9 fights. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to finish my last fight. Got criticized from it because, in this sport, people remember your last fight. But, sometimes fights turn out, when you're not in there, things are going on people don't see. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to put on the best performance against Mayhem. I thought I handily won the fight, but, I did some things. And unfortunately, I wasn't able to do what I wanted to do. But I'm going to go out there and really try to make a point of making this an exciting fight because, it is important to the sport to get paid and keep the fans happy.
You've had to answer a lot of questions about the UFC, and Dana White has talked about you. Has any of that been a distraction?
I get asked about every interview, but I just try to ignore it and not think about it. I try to I have the biggest fight of my life coming up, and I'm trying not to think past that. It really is all that matters is winning this fight, and then from there I'll sit back, relax, talk to my manager, my team, and try to decide what's best for me.
We'll clear something up for us. Scott says he has an option to sign you one more fight after this one. Is that in fact true?
It's the contract's a little complicated. But I just talked to my manager, and I guess I'm pretty much a free agent. We have the waiting period, but the way it's written up, I would have been notified about the fight already. So apparently, I don't look at the contract, but apparently I'm going to be a free agent after this fight. Of course, there's like a waiting period of I'm not sure how long, maybe 45, 60 days. I'm not really sure, but more or less a free agent after this fight.
Can you give us a percentage in terms of staying or going? Do you have something in your mind?
I would rather not do that. I would rather just get through this fight and then take it from there.
All right, how do you?
No idea. We haven't had any talks with the shows about business, so without sitting there and talking to Scott and Dana, there's really no idea for me to know what I want to do.
Dana brought up the ads and that they haven't focused a lot on you. Is this something that you voiced to Strikeforce that you wanted to be focused more on the ads?
No, I didn't say anything, but I know they did start pushing me more after Dana said that. I'm not sure if it was they were planning on doing it to begin with, or maybe that had some effect, But I did start getting. I wasn't really watching that, so I'm only going off people tell me. So it's hard for me to really. Criticize when I'm not sitting there watching them. But supposedly they started playing more ads with me on them. So.
How do you envision the fight finishing?
I think I'm going to submit him, I think this is going to be a tough fight. I don't see it being easy, but I think at some point I'm going to put him away, armbar, choke, any submission I can get.
All right, Jake, we appreciate it and we look forward to it.
Thank you.